Hello, Shumai.
Hi.
Shumai, Ruth, how are you?
I am pretty good. Does that mean hi or is that greetings?
Yeah,
Or...
that's hello in Welsh. Shumai.
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. The non-Welsh person.
Yeah.
But...
No. Well, we say it about 1,000,000 times a day. So yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll say. What about you? That's
Yeah. I like that. What about
yeah.
you? What about you? Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good, pretty good. I know it's more like bitey. It gets people get lazy and then it just gets short and it's bitey.
But what about you?
Bitey, yeah.
I think I just mangled that. Oh dear. Sorry, people of Northern Ireland. I just offended you all. Sorry about that. Yeah. Anyway, welcome to the session. Maybe some of you have noticed. Hello, Shumai. Hello to everyone in the schools that are joining us today. Maybe some of you noticed, hang on, that guy is not Dom. And I'm not Dom, it's true. So I'm Redydd, and I'm filling in for Dom today. But Ruth, I'm sure you've seen on the session before, Ruth is the expert here today. So all the mistakes will be mine, and all the good stuff will be Ruth's.
Definitely not. I've seen your design. It's fabulous. So
oh, well, stop it. Stop it.
Oh, stop it.
Get out of here, Ruth. Well, I'd like to wish you a happy World Oceans Day.
Thank you so much. I'm celebrating by being inside. It's great.
Yes.
I'll maybe go to the beach later. Actually, that'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be lovely. So, so to everybody who's following along with us in schools today, if you'd like to get to this page, which has got all the info that we're going to be using during today's session, there's two ways to get there. The first way to get to this page is to use the lovely URL that we have here. So bit.ly/Oceans Express. Oh, Oceans Express, sorry.
It's very well said.
Not the Oceans Express.
I liked it. Though.
Yeah, Oceans Express.
Yeah.
So bit.ly/Oceans Express. Or if you were on a mobile device with a camera, you are welcome to take a quick shot of that QR code or just scan the QR code and that'll take you to this page as well. So whilst we're on this page, maybe it's worth us going over the 3 rules of Digital Leaders Club.
Nice. Go for it. I'm excited. I'm all ears. Go.
Now then, I've got them printed off here, so I'm gonna get this right today. So rule number 1. I should have some cool sound effect there, shouldn't I? Dun, 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 dun. There it is. Rule number 1, follow along, but don't worry about keeping up. Okay, if you'll have plenty of time to catch up as we switch between the iPad and the browser. So I'm going to be using Adobe Express on the browser on Google Chrome, and Ruth is going to be using Adobe Express on the iPad, and we're going to be switching back and forth and kind of doing similar skills, so you will have time to catch up as we pass back and forth. The second rule number 2, dun, 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 is if you fall behind, there'll be 5 minutes of time at the end of each challenge to finish off. That's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
But if you're feeling like you need even more time, just press pause. You are welcome to pause us and keep on playing whenever it suits you in class. Okay, you do you, guys. And then the third rule number 3, bomb, bomb, bomb. All digital leaders, this is the most important one. All digital leaders who complete their challenges can apply for free swag.
There you go.
That's it. So if you complete both challenges today and send them in to us, more on that later, you can apply to us for some free swag. Dom will send out an email about that after the session. So it's nothing to do with me. So if you don't get your swag, don't come knocking at my door.
No, go to Dom's. Yeah.
Yeah. So what app are we going to be starting off with today, Ruth?
So the first challenge that we have is we're going to make a fact file. I think it is, isn't it? Like a fact file on great white sharks. Yep. So we're going to be using on the iPad, we're going to be using Adobe Express. And then you're using the browser version, so it's going to be the same for both. But later on, the second challenge, you're going to need Adobe Page. It's just 2 different apps on the iPad, but pretty much do the same sort of thing. And then the browser, you only need to access Adobe Express. So.
Yeah, so folks following me on the browser, you won't need to go anywhere else. This is all lives inside Adobe Express on the browser. So our fact file, now Dom's given us an example. So here's Dom's great white shark fact file. Okay. Nice. So as you can see, it's kind of a poster. You may hear me referring to it as a poster today by mistake many times. So it's a poster giving facts about the great white shark. Now, you're welcome, of course, to choose any ocean animal or creature you want. But Dom has provided you with these great white shark facts if you click on the words button here, or you could use the URL bit.ly ocean words. Clicking on that will open up this Google Doc, and you can see there that he's got the facts that he's included in his fact file, in his poster. And then there's the more stuff going on down here, which we'll be using later on for the page, for the web page. Okay, I think we're ready to fire away. Do you think, Ruth? Have I missed anything out?
I don't think so. No, I think we're pretty good to go. Cool.
And if anybody's following along today, please give us a shout out. Okay, your comments will be popping up, and I'd love to hear from the schools that are joining us today. Let us know which school you are, where you're joining us from, and we'll give you a shout out. I love shout outs. They're great.
They're great. Yeah.
Okay, so here I am. I am on the Adobe Express homepage, the dashboard. So we're going to be creating this fact file. Now, it looks to me like something that would really work as a printed document. So whenever you think, yeah, I'm probably going to print this out, then it's always worth going for kind of a print size design. So to do that, I'm just going to click on the custom size button here on the dashboard. It's going to take me to the kind of size setup. And for this, I'm going to go straight for the print section here. And, you know, everyone's favorite paper size, I would say.
A4.
Yes, everyone's got a favorite size of paper, and mine's A4 anyway. So I'm going to choose A4 and click on next. Okay, so whenever I'm designing a poster or a fact file like this, I always like to start off with the background, because I feel that if you get your background kind of sorted early on, it's going to give you the mood of your whole document, and it's also going to give you little pointers to which colors are going to work best as well. So I definitely wouldn't leave a background to the last thing, because sometimes they look a bit mismatched when we do that. Okay, so you could just use photos, like we were just earlier, Ruth, to search photos. But there are more kind of, this is a bit more curated. If you click on backgrounds, the photos that show up here and the images that show up here are kind of ready suit to be used as backgrounds. Okay, so because I'm really original and creative and I think outside the box, I'm going to search for water.
Yeah. Nice.
Yes, thanks. Thank you. I know.
That was a good giggle.
Oh, wow. How did you think of that?
I know. Groundbreaking stuff right here.
Oh, yeah, I know, yeah. So I'm scroll down.
Why not use water? That makes sense.
Well, quite. Yes. I mean, you know, a desert wouldn't really be suitable, would it? You know, let's be real. Right. So, you know, there's a lot of cool stuff here, things that would work as a background. But when I had a little go with this earlier, when I was scrolling down and scrolling, I came to these. Oh, that was good timing. Oh, don't worry about that noise. That's just our school bell. These are just kind of abstract watercolor designs, and I really like how they look and the kind of texture they've got. So I'm going to go for one of these. So I'm just going to click on it, and because it's in the background section, it's just going to automatically add that as a background. So I don't need to resize it or anything like that. Now then. As a background, I really like it, but I can already see that it might end up being a little bit too busy because we've got a lot of text to get in on this design, folks. And this might draw too much attention away from the text and the information about the great white shark. So a little tip for just kind of toning down your background a little bit is to add a blur effect to it. So I've got my background selected, and on the bottom right-hand corner of your browser, you'll see the blur effect. and I'm just going to switch that on. Okay, and then you can season to taste with this toggle. You can see you don't really need much blur at all. If you go anywhere near halfway, it actually just totally destroys it, doesn't it? The blur slider is very overpowered in Adobe Express, in my opinion. I find myself always hovering around, always below 10, and I never get past 10. But folks in schools, you do you, whatever works for you, then blur as you wish. So there we are. I've got that kind of ready to go now. So my next job always is text, and the title specifically, okay, because the title is kind of the most important piece of text that we've got on this. People need to be able to see it maybe from across the room if it's on the wall and know what this is about. So I'm going to add text. Now, to add text on Adobe Express, on the left-hand side, text button. And when you click on that, it'll give you your text panel. And you'll have a load of presets in here. Now, I'm going to let you in on a secret here, guys. I never use these presets. They look really cool when you scroll through them here. But in my experience, whenever I try using any of these text presets, once I start changing things around and swapping text for what I wanted to say, they never look as good. What do you think, Ruth?
Yeah, I think you're right. They look cool with the text that they have. Sometimes you change it, it just looks doesn't look quite as good. I think they've been designed for their like example text.
Yeah, so you're welcome. You're welcome to have a go, folks, and try some out. But for me, I always like to start from scratch, and I'm going to just click on Add Your Text here, and that's just going to give me a plain text box. It's going to give me a plain text box. There we go.
Just about.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I think my internet is hopefully behaving today. Okay, so I'm gonna change the text here. So instead of double click to edit, I'm just gonna come right up here to the to this little text box editor window here, and I'm gonna type the great white shark in there. And then straight away, what I like doing then is I start thinking about font. So I get my font wellies on, and we're gonna go wading through fonts. And I love looking at fonts and picking fonts. It's possibly a bit of a problem for me, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, I would tell you, don't rush picking your fonts, because it has such a huge impact on the feel of your designs. Do you think so, Ruth? Am I talking?
Yeah, I 100% agree. 100%.
All right.
Yeah.
So to choose fonts, I'm just going to click on this font drop down here, and then you can scroll through your fonts. And if Adobe Express is feeling particularly kind, it'll give you this More Fonts button down at the bottom. Now, you might be wondering, why is he saying if Adobe Express is feeling kind? Now, sometimes for me, that More Fonts button doesn't appear. And I can't work out why.
No, even yesterday, it just randomly appeared, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so sometimes I'll open it, I can just scroll through fonts, but then today now I can click on this More Fonts. And I love this More Fonts thing, because what it can do is kind of font families. So here you can see now I can sort the fonts by their kind of general style. So for the Great White Shark, I'm going to go for a horror font. And then it'll just show me fonts that are kind of give us that horror mood. Okay. So I'm just going to scroll down, and I'm not going to take a long time about this, because I know people are watching, and watching somebody scroll through fonts is not fun. So I'm going to go with, I pick one at random. How about this one? It's nice. It's called Salvation Regular. I think that's cool looking. So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to apply the font. The final thing I'm going to show you now, before passing back over to Ruth, is our alignment options. Over here in our side panel, we've obviously got left align, center align, right align, and at the moment it's center aligned. I've also got these curved grid and magic alignments in this drop down. So if I drop that down, we've got some really fun stuff in here. So have a little browse through, have a play around with these different alignments. Magic, capitalize, and fit always works well, always works really well. And then the three following that, sometimes work well and sometimes don't work at all. So rotate and fit, rotate, and triplet. So have a look now what happens when I click on rotate and fit. Okay, it's just going to spin stuff around. And if I keep clicking on that rotate and fit button, it just gives me different options. How about this? How about that? How about this? And you can also, if I resize my text box, it'll rearrange it again. Okay, so it's not just one button, click, and you either like it or you don't. You can click on these buttons numerous times and it'll kind of shuffle it every time. And remember as well, if you change the size or layout of your text box, that'll also rearrange your text. I like that. I don't like this big gap between the words white and shark. So I am going to just come over to my spacing drop down. And this line spacing is obnoxiously high. So I'm going to slam that all the way down to 0. Just to tighten up the line spacing here. So I'm going to pass over to Ruth now. And whilst Ruth is showing you the similar kind of setup, that's all I'm going to be doing in the meantime is I'm going to be playing around with adding an outline and a shadow to this text. Okay, so an outline is obviously a colored line around the text, and a shadow is a kind of colored repeating pattern behind. And to do that, I'm just going to be ticking shadow and outline on, playing around with colors and thicknesses. Okay, what to you?
Thank you. So as I said, on the iPad, we're going to be using the Adobe Express app. Whenever you open it up, this is what it looks like. So we've got all of our templates that we can search. And then down at the bottom, we've got our projects. We're going to be creating a brand new project today. So we're going to hit the big plus button in the middle. And then on here, we don't actually have the option to do custom size on the iPads, but a way around that is to choose solid color at the top. So beside photos and camera, we've got solid color. So if we tap on that, then just choose white because, you can choose whatever color you want. We're going to be putting a background in anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. So I'm just going to choose white and I'm going to hit next. And then in here, now we have all of these options of resizing. So you'll see there's a lot of different sizes that we can pick from, but we're going to go to print. And in here, we're going to choose that favorite size of everybody's paper, A4 for printing.
Yay!
Redhead's happy. So I'm going to hit done. And
Team A4, Team A4.
Team A4. You need t-shirts made up for that. But what we're going to do is whenever we create one on the iPad, it automatically creates this little text box. Now we are going to be adding the text box in later, but for me, I like to delete this for now, just so I can see the full background. Again, it's your preference. I'm just telling you guys what I like to do. So to add anything in on the iPad, we're going to go down to the bottom where it says add, which is very handy. And you'll see in here, we've got very similar options to what Meredev have on the left side of your screen, I think it was. So you've got like text, design assets, whatever.
Yeah, on the left, yeah.
Yeah. But so there's backgrounds, but I'm going to do it a wee bit different just to show you the alternative way you can do it. And I'm just going to use a photograph and then set it as my background. So I'm going to go to Adobe Stock in here, which is going to open up the Adobe set of photographs that are already built in. Oh, I went to type on my keyboard. I don't have it. So I keep forgetting I have to type on the iPad keyboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search ocean because it's World Ocean Day. And in here, there's a lot of different backgrounds. Now, remember, you don't want one that's maybe too busy. And what I mean by busy is a lot of different patterns or a lot of different colors, because it is going to be quite difficult to read text on top of it. You can use the trick that was shown about blurring, but sometimes blurring photographs just looks like they're bad quality photographs. It's good for something like the watercolor and things. It works really well, but sometimes it can just look a wee bit off. So I'm actually going to choose this one, which looks like a spotlight has hit the ocean floor, which is super natural and very realistic.
Cool.
Yeah, it is a really cool photograph. Actually, it's a really good background photo. And I'm going to hit add one at the top right. And then whenever I do that on the iPad with the option to pin to background or move freely, we are going to choose pin to background because we want it to be our background. This is kind of how we get a photograph to be our background. So if I tap on that, you can see now I have this image and I can actually move that around, so I could reposition it. Now, the main thing is this is a spotlight, so I want it to be right smack in the middle. So I am actually really happy with that layout and how that looks. Again, you guys can play around with it. You can pinch to zoom in or zoom out on your photograph if you want to play around with whatever one you've got. And if you decide you want a different one, you can just go tap on the photo at the bottom. There's replace. And you can open up Adobe Stock Photos again, and you can search, and it will automatically pop that back in, and we'll replace it. But I'm pretty happy with that. Actually, it's a good start at least, which is good because normally I take about half an hour to pick a background. So that's
you're not gonna change your background, Ruth. What?
No, I'm gonna.
Today?
We shall see. We shall see. I will hopefully not. He's only saying that because yesterday I think I went through about 5 backgrounds, which was
5. I wasn't counting, but it was 5.
I think it was 5 actually. Yeah. So and what we're kind of at the same stage again on the iPad. If you want to do the blur effect, I'm not going to because mine's it's kind of blurred looking already. But if you wanted to do that, you just go to looks, which is where you add your filter, and on the right hand side is where the blur is. And you can add a blur. Now it does look pretty good in that if I have a problem later in those rocks, or maybe a bit in the way I could do that, which actually makes it kind of look like it's more underwater, kind of.
Yeah. It's a good background. It's not too busy at all, is it? You know, it's really set up for a background that. Yeah. I don't think it doesn't maybe probably won't need any blur, in my opinion. No, but it's your design. Exactly. Up to you.
Exactly. No, I know. But I'm just showing the iPad guys where it kind of is, because it depends. It's a wee bit different. And on the iPad, you always have to hit done to get out of that menu. And done.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's just a wee bit, there's just a wee bit slightly different how to use it, but you can pretty much find everything. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add in our text. So I'm just going to tap on add and text, and I'm going to just type in, I'd always do it in capitals just because I think it looks good. So we're doing the great white shark. So I'm just going to type in great white shark. And we have this lovely randomized font and randomized color that's been put in.
It's lovely.
What?
It's lovely.
Oh, I mean, that is just, that's where I'll just finish, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. It's been great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to font at the bottom. Now, this is quite interesting, actually. So we were shown there that you can do more fonts and you can go and search those. Unfortunately, on the iPad, I can't see that option. So if I scroll the whole way across on the fonts and go to the plus symbol on the right, and then go to the plus symbol again, it will allow me to install extra fonts.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, they're really nice, but I cannot find the font that you use. So if I type in Salvation, I think it was called, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yes.
It just says it's no results. So I think there are certain fonts that work on the browser, and there are certain ones that won't work on the iPad. So it's just so you guys know. But what I really like about this is I can actually go, I don't need to show this. I've never shown this before, but I just thought it was really cool. Along the top, I can go to sample text. Just hold on, let me see. Can I highlight it? Yeah. So just here, there's sample.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Tap on that. I could actually type in great white shark in capitals.
Yeah, and then you get
what that will do. It will actually show me now. So I think you might have had that automatically.
It does when you go into the more fonts. Yeah, it does do that. And it's it really helps. It
really helps, especially because certain letters look a bit weird and things. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, you can choose to install fonts there. I'm not going to do that because I have already picked my font. Maybe we'll see. So I've already installed a different one. So I quite like this sort of a font, or this one. They're quite sort of hand drawn sort of ones. I can't even search by horror fonts. That doesn't have those filters.
Yeah.
But it's fine. We'll make it work. So I'm just going to choose this one just because it's quite simple and basic. And I'm going to go to Align, which was the next thing you went to. I'm trying to remember where you went to. Yeah. And then in here, we've got our magic solutions, like our different sort of layouts that we can play with. And again, on the iPad, it's slightly different, but you can still keep tapping the button. So if I tap on magic, what that will do is it will automatically align everything and try to make it fit. So some words will be smaller and some words will be bigger. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Curve, we'll do it as like a little circle, or if I tap it again, it will do like a little arc or a rainbow, and then it will do the opposite, which makes it look like a smile, which is maybe...
Yeah, the curved alignments either work or they don't they?
Correct.
You know, and they work really well if they're going around maybe a circular shaped photo or an icon, or if you're trying to make like if you're trying to create a logo for something, they work quite well. But as a title for a poster or a fact file, I don't get much luck with them personally.
No, and I think sometimes it can be a wee bit harder it's easy for me to read because I've designed it, but you have to think about, you want this poster to be displayed maybe, and so you want it to be easy to read. So again, you can go through all these different ones yourselves. You can just tap on them, but I'm just going to tap on the magic one because I do quite like the magic one.
It's always a winner. Yeah.
There's always a winner just because it's pretty quick. I'm trying to find, the alignment's not coming up. So I'm just going to make it a wee bit smaller. I'm going to hit done. And I'm going to see, does my alignment now come up? No. Okay. So normally whenever my iPad must have just had it's had a little moment. It's fine. Normally whenever you move it around, you'll get a pink line that shows up. Pink means it's centered to the page. So I'm just going to move it up. I'm going to go to color. I'm going to go to text, and I'm going to change it to white. So it makes it much easier to see. And that looks much better. And then again, what you were playing around with, Meredith, was the effects, wasn't it? Like the shadow and the outline. So in here, you just have to tap on the actual icon, and then below it is where you can change it. I think whenever you tap it, it maybe comes up as like a little drop down appears.
Yeah.
So I can go in, I could change that to gray. I might actually change it to white and see what gray text looks like. Gray on blue might not work great, but we shall see, because this is where you can start to play around with it. Yeah, see, in theory, it sounds cool, but on that blue, it's a bit hard to read.
Yeah.
Especially this font. Yours might have worked great, because I could go back and I could go and do an outline, and I could put a white outline on it. It's easier to read, but again, I'm going to probably just hit done and go to my undo at the top, and I'm going to just stick with normal. I'm going to stick with normal because my background is a bit more
yeah, definitely, and it helps us because we're all looking at your screen, you know, in a smaller size, so we can really see the effect that it's far clearer in white. You know, sometimes when you're working on something close up on the screen, it seems okay. So you always have to remember, okay, what's this going to look like printed off on the wall a few meters away?
Exactly, because like my face is almost right up to my iPad.
Yeah.
So to me, it looks easy to read, but you're right. You guys are probably struggling. The only thing I forgot to show is just if I tap on my text and go to spacing, I can change that line.
So tuck that up. Yes, there we go. Yeah.
So just makes it look a wee bit nicer. And then that's me just up to date. So we could probably just show how to get some photos or something in now.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, there we are. So here I am. So that's all I think. I've mentioned Ruth actually, but all I did was I changed the color of my text to this kind of shark gray. And then I added a shadow and outline, I said I would do. So if I drop that down, you can see that my shadow is in white and my outline is in this kind of oceany blue color. And I just drag the toggle to the right to make that outline quite thick. Now, at the moment, text isn't that clear against the background, but I'm already thinking ahead that I'm going to be adding a kind of shape as some kind of background to that text. So I've got something in mind about that. So I'm going to start off with that now, actually. So over on the left-hand side, I'm going to look at design assets. Okay, now design assets are different to photos and shapes in that they're a bit more artistic and they've got a bit more complexity than just the shapes. The shapes are all single color images or icons, really. It used to be called icons. So design assets, they're definitely more complex than shapes, but different to photos, a lot of them have got transparency built in. So I'm going to look for some kind of water droplets, you know, kind of water bubbles. to use as zones for my pieces of information. So on Tom's research document here, we've got 6 pieces of information. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, I always count from the bottom up. Yeah. So I need kind of 6 zones for my information. And I'm thinking I'm going to use some kind of water bubble or some kind of water droplet to create those zones. So in the design assets, I'm going to just search for droplet. By the way, we haven't had any shout outs yet, Ruth. So it could be just you and me on this call. It could be just you and me. I don't know. So if anybody is out, if anybody is out there, please give us a little comment on YouTube, and we'll give you a shout out. Kids, tell your teachers to give us a comment, please. Shout at them now. Tell them, do it now, miss. Right. We want to know where you're from. We're really nosy. Right. Yep. So I like these already. Now, if I add any of these droplets, what will happen, as you'll see, I'm going to pick a good one. Here we go. These are lovely. If I add this droplet, so just click on it, you can see it's going to add it without a kind of frame around the image. Hasn't added it at all yet. Is my internet starting to play around again?
Just slightly.
I'll try it again. I'll try a different one. I've clicked on you. So it's kind of... Oh, lovely. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to refresh Adobe Express. So I'm sure you get this problem in schools as well. So whenever something hangs or crashes, I'm going to just refresh this page. So maybe I'll just pass over to Ruth, and Ruth is going to show us how to add some images in whilst I have a stern word with my Adobe Express. Okay.
No yep.
There you are, Ruth.
Thank you. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you how to add in photographs, and then we'll go back to Meredev whenever his internet decides to work. Yes. So to add photographs in, it's pretty simple. We just go to add. Again, on the browser, you can do that on the left section. And I'm just going to go to Adobe Stock again. And so we can, I'm just going to show you, I'm going to search, nope, that's my computer. Sorry, keep typing on my keyboard. It's because, do you know what, it's right, it's because it's right in front of me.
What is that? Yes.
I'm moving it away. It's getting rid. So if I search great white shark, you can see that there's a bunch of different photographs. But even though I search great white shark, I can tell, now I'm not a marine biologist, but I can definitely tell that one of those is a lighthouse. One is a dolphin, and at least 3 are different. There's a manta ray. There's 3 that are not great white sharks. So I'm just going to keep it very simple, very generic, and I'm just going to search shark because it doesn't seem to matter if you're super specific with this. In fact, with the Adobe Stock, you're better being general. So let's just stick with shark. And in here, there are some really cool ones. I still do want to try that teeth thing. I think it might be pretty cool. I might do that.
That is cool. Yeah.
Yeah, because the shark teeth are kind of very distinct shapes. You'll see there on the right, there's this like shark teeth photo. We were said it'd be cool to put that at the top. Like the top of the jaw is the top of your photo or your poster, and then the bottom would be at the bottom. So I might show you that in the break as to how you could do that. But what I want to do is I actually want to get a photograph that I can remove the background on, because I want to do it that this, I'm going to almost recreate the Jaws poster, you know, that really relevant movie that hopefully that none of you have seen. I'm going to recreate that poster. Yeah. So I'm going to tap on this one. You can see that it's like a shark from underneath kind of coming up. Again, you can pick whatever one you want. If you do want to remove the background on a shark, you are better picking a photo that has only one shark in the photograph. I think it just looks better. You can choose the multiple ones, but just know that they're all going to move together. And also, so I'm going to choose this one at the bottom, and I'm going to tap on add one. And this option comes up again. So add to collage will add it to my background. I don't want to do that. I want to do move freely, because then I can move this photograph around freely. And there, my alignment is now coming up again. Good job, alignment.
Oh, it's back. Yeah,
I don't know what happened. So I'm going to tap on it, and I could just move this around and have this photograph randomly sit there, but I'm going to try and do this design a wee bit different. So again, if you want to just add in a couple of photographs, there's absolutely no problem with that. You do whatever you want to do, but I'm just going to show you this option because I think it just is good to see. So I'm going to tap on this, and then in edit, you'll see about 3 across, we've got remove background. And this is where Adobe Express is phenomenal at removing the background. So I'm going to tap on this button. They are incredible. And what it has done, it has given me this massive shark that no longer is in has the water background anymore.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like witchcraft, isn't it?
It's unbelievable. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to adjust, and I'm going to rotate my shark a wee bit just to line it up so it's kind of straight. And I'm going to move it down so that this shark looks like he's kind of coming up from the bottom. And so it's actually a really nice look to it, because the shark was already in water and because my background is water, the colors work really, really well. Yeah. And so you can play around with it. Like, for example, if you brought in one of the other sharks that were there, what you could do is, let me just get one very quickly. So there's a little shark on his own, or her own. There's a little shark. I can go to edit, remove background. And then the background is going to be removed. And then we only have this little shark. And say I could play around with it and do like something with the text. So, you know, you have this sort of a thing kind of going on. It's whatever you guys kind of want. It's just, for me, I like this look of the big shark in the middle. Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of how I must just be my text. It's just not doing center line. I'm just going to have to eyeball it. Yeah, that's about right. And then, so I'm going to do that. And my plan is going to be that I'm going to put in my text kind of around the shark. Like, my little facts are going to be spread about. Is your internet behaving now?
It is. I'm back. I'm back in the game. Yeah.
That's how you add a photograph in anyway.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah. So here I am. I'm back. So yeah, I've been adding my droplets. So as you can see, what's great about these is that, like, Ruth just showed us how to use remove background, and remove background is amazing. But a lot of the stuff in the design assets have already got those backgrounds removed. So, and these droplets are a perfect example of that. So I've added these droplets in, and although they all look different, I've actually only got 3 different droplets there. And what I've done is I've used the flip horizontal, flip vertical buttons here to just flip them around to make them look different to each other. And I've also used the old-fashioned rotate tool as well, just to change them up. So I've got now my 6 zones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I've kept some room here. I might have to shimmy things about, but I want a picture of a shark as well, obviously. Do you see what my text changed back to plain white when I refreshed as well? So I'm gonna have to, thanks for that, Adobe Express. That in a little bit as well. So I'm going to open up photos here, and I'm going to type in great white shark. As Ruth said, you'll get more options the more general your search is. So I get more options if I just type shark in, white shark. The reason I'm doing that is because I've got a specific photo in mind that I want to use, and it's this guy. Okay, so I kept room for him here. So he's going to be kind of pointing in towards the middle of the page. So I'm going to click on this photo, and it's going to add it to my design. It is going to add it to my design.
Thanks, internet. Now this is just this is good. This is skill.
You know? I got 2 of them now. I probably if you click on something and it doesn't work, don't just keep clicking on it, because then you'll end up with 5. No, I can think of right. So I'm going to use the remove background tool as well. Now, if the remove background tool doesn't behave particularly for you, and sometimes it doesn't, as Ruth was saying, if the background is really busy, or if you've got a picture of more than one shark, maybe the remove background tool isn't going to be the best option for you. So remember, you've always got the crop and shape option as well. So if you click on crop and shape, and down you've got these shape options, which can always look good. You know, you'll never go wrong with cropping to a circle. That always looks cool. So for my design, I don't want that, because I want the fin to be kind of poking up on top of the text. So I'm not going to be using crop to shape, but you could, folks, you could definitely do that. Go back to the original here. Oh dear, it's cropped it now. It's going really well for me today, Ruth. I think I'm going to be happy with my performance, and he's going to invite me back many times. Right, here we go. I'm going to click on Remove Background. And Adobe Express is going to work its incredible magic. You hardly ever need to fix this. If you do need to fix it, you've got basically an erase and a restore paintbrush, which you can kind of paint bits off or paint other bits back on. So say, for example, I didn't want that. I don't know what that is there. So I could use the erase brush. I could choose which size I want the brush to be, and I could just paint over the bit I don't want in red, like that. And that's just going to tidy up my cutout. Okay, but most of the time, Adobe Express will do a great job at it. I need to do that. I was just doing that to show you guys, really. Okay, so here's my cool, menacing shark picture. So I'm just going to resize it. I wanted to fit that little gap there between bubbles. Something like that. And now I'm going to get into the adjustments. The enhancements. So enhancements, you don't need to know what you're doing, okay? Just get in there, try stuff out, because there's a lot of words in there, a lot of scary looking words. You know, oh, I better not touch that. I don't know what it does. Just switch the enhancements on and have a look at what you've got here in the options. Contrast, brightness, saturation, highlight, shadow, warmth, and sharpen. And do you know what, guys? Just play around with them. Because and don't be shy. With these, go wild. Go all the way to the left, all the way to the right. Because by doing that, you can really see what effect that has on my shark. And I can see there with contrast, if I add more contrast, it kind of brings up more of the details of the shark's skin. Same brightness. Okay, so just play around with these toggles. And if it looks good, it is good. Okay, there's no right or wrong here. You're the designers, so you do what you think looks best. Okay, warmth is not going to be good here. You need that middle, and sharpen is always a funny one. It actually does. I've always noticed sharpen nearly kind of makes the edges a little transparent rather than actually sharpening anything. So sometimes sharpen can ruin something, but here I think I'll just add a little bit of it. There we go, something like that. Okay. What are we going to do next is have a look now at adding our text. So should we go back to you, Ruth, for that? I think we've had a lot of me there. You ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready. So we're going to hopefully get our facts added in now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the challenge page on my iPad, and I'm going to tap on the words. So that's bit.ly/ocean words. Some people might have a bit of problem accessing it. It's okay. For now, you can just, you could look up some facts about any animal that you're doing. But I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to just not select all. Oh, I hate selecting things on the iPad. It's so fiddly. You guys,
they haven't fixed it, have they? You know, no, it's still as difficult as it was back in 2007 on the original iPhone.
I'm telling you, kids are much better at that than I am. I don't have the patience for it.
Well, I'm not good at it.
It does take a bit of patience. So I have created a new text box exactly the same way I did my title. And I'm going to go to paste. And in here, I just have status and vulnerable. That's all I've got. Because I think I'm going to do each of these as a separate little box. Because I want these facts to look a wee bit different. And in fact, well, I'll see. I might end up splitting status and vulnerable, but we shall see. So what I was going to do is, now obviously, Meredith, you've got lovely bubbles that you're putting all of your facts into. I don't have anything like that because I'm just going to keep it nice and simple and kind of just put these around the shark. Like the shark's almost pushing through them. Do you know, he's like they're swimming through the facts, which means I might end up like rotating them very slightly, but I'm not going to do that just yet. So for a line, I'm going to go to center. I don't really want the magic on it because status is like status and then vulnerable. It should really be, you know, it's letting us know. So I'm going to go either center align. Center align is always good. Left align, you can kind of play around with that. Whatever way you kind of want, and see what fits yours better. And I'm going to go to font and I'm going to choose a different font. Now, The reason I'm going to choose a different font is just to add something a bit different. I know I said different twice to describe it, but what I mean is I have my lovely font as the top. So what I want to do is I want to have more of a chunky, easy to read font as my main bulk. It's called the body text. Your body text should always be a bit easier and more like something like this. Maybe not exactly that, but a text or a font kind of like that, where it's a bit more chunky and easier to read, not fancy. Okay.
Yeah. Ruth, you like pairing up fonts as well. I love a bit of font pairing.
Oh, I love it. You gotta have a header. You gotta have your header font or your main font, and then your body font. Oh,
yeah,
so good. And then whenever you bring font families in with different weights, guys, we can talk about fonts all day long, but you're probably like, we're making a shark poster. Thanks.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move.
Stop boring us. Yeah.
I know, right. Shush. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put this in. Now, I'm not necessarily super happy about how it looks. It's very, very plain, but plain isn't necessarily bad, okay? That's one of the main things to say. Whenever you do a poster like this, you don't need to go crazy with adding in 100 colors or adding in loads of patterns or things like that. We want to keep the simplicity, okay? And in here, you can play around with color and kind of see if different ones work. I mean, that light blue isn't bad. Actually, I was going to say light blue might not be great. It is a wee bit harder to read, but we can kind of play around with that. Again, what I might do, actually, while you guys are just here, is I am going to not be able to delete anything. I think what I might do is I might create this as a different box. So I can go to edit and I can go to duplicate, and I have my status as a different one, and I have the word below. Now this is going to take a bit longer to do. That's the only reason I didn't want to suggest it. But let's have a wee look and see what this looks like, okay? So what we've got is we have a different color for our status or our title, and then we have our state, like or the fact that it is. And what I can actually do, now this is pretty cool, is on the iPads we can't click on two things at once, which is a bit annoying at times. But Adobe has allowed us to do that. So I'm going to tap on my status block and I'm going to go to edit, and you'll see at the bottom there's select multiple. If I tap on that, it opens up like a different little window just at the bottom. If I tap on vulnerable now, it's going to select it as well. So then whenever I go to next, I can now move.
You iPad ninja, you. This is top level skills going on here.
I know. So now what I've got is these are grouped together for me to move, which is really handy. And what I can do is I can actually tap on group. And now this will treat this as one block. So whenever I make it bigger, they're joined together, and it just makes it look that much better. Okay, it's not even look better, it's so much easier to use. So if I go to edit and I go to duplicate, then I've got my second fact. And what I can do is if I double tap on the word status, it will allow me to edit that, and I can go back and I can see, well, what's the next word? It's the name. I think I'm gonna do name rather than scientific name. Scientific names are a wee bit too long. Oh, but never mind, because the name is really long.
Oh yeah.
Carcharodon, Carcharius.
Carcharodon, Carcharias.
It sounds so much better in Welsh.
I was telling Ruth yesterday, carchar is the Welsh word for prison. So it's a prisony prisoner. That's what that's what the Latin name for great white shark is. Carcharodon, Carcharias.
I love it. So then all I'm going to do then is I'm just going to, now we can throw it back to you, but I'm just going to basically duplicate each of these, which then allows me to do this. And then, for example, if I tap on this one and I want to move it, I can just move that over. And then what I'm going to do is create like a nice little, it's almost like a little pyramid kind of with the shark doing it, but I'm just going to let that dictate where my text is. So back to you, Jared.
Yeah, great. Okay, so I've just added a final droplet in. Now, one of the a few of the droplets in there weren't kind of see-through. They were this solid kind of white, nearly pearlescent looking thing. So what I'm doing here, you remember when I was adding my title, I said I had this thing in mind that I wanted something behind the title, just to help the text stand off a bit better. So I'm just going to cover my title with that. There we go. And now I'm going to go over to my layer stack. So to open your layer stack, it's just click here. And I love the layer stack in Adobe Express. I think it works really well. And I'm just going to drag that down now all the way to the bottom. Here we go. Drag, right down to the bottom underneath the text. There we go. And the text will pop on top. And now that it's there, I'm going to try the blend modes on this white droplet. So multiply will always kind of blend it with the background whilst keeping the darker elements. And then screen is going to blend it with the background, keeping the lighter elements. So I always find that those blend modes are kind of a good starting point. But then usually I'll also want to bring the opacity down a bit. So to make that shape a little more see-through. Okay. So, and when I'm doing that, I always kind of take it all the way down to 0 to make it totally see-through. And then bring it back in slowly to the point where I'm happy with it. And you'll find by doing that the opacity is usually lower than you thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Now, you might have also noticed that I really like overlapping layers. I really like the fact that this shark fin is up here overlapping the T on the grate. And I like that these bubbles are overlapping here. But it's also nice to kind of tuck things behind each other. So this bubble, maybe I'll tuck behind that white droplet. So I'll just click on it. There it is there. And I'm going to drag that down underneath. Okay, little details like that. So you can see there now that that kind of edge there is tucked behind, but this one is above. And little details like that really kind of add depth to your designs. Okay, so on to the text. So Ruth has started adding in the facts for the fact file, because without facts, this is not a fact file. Run out of breath there. So I'm going to just add another text box. I'm going to click on text. And I'm going to click add your text. Now, usually on the browser version, that'll just follow the same font design that you've already used. Let's see if that's true. Yeah, it kind of has. It's changed the colors, but it's kept the same kind of design. So I don't want the this cool rotation anymore. So I'm just going to go back and I'm going to change that to center line. Okay, there we go. And we got double click to edit. And the first fact we had was status. Okay, and then I'm going to go down, hit return to go to the next line. Vulnerable. There we go. Now, as Ruth is saying, you don't really want to use a fancy font or an artistic font for facts and figures. You want to differentiate between kind of titles and body text. So I'm going to change the font on the vulnerable text here. So to do that, we can add a font style to the same text box. So I'm going to click here and it's going to add a highlight style. So now I've got my main style for the text box and my highlight style for the text box. And you can see it's kind of added, right, there we are. That's what your highlight is going to look like. And then this is what your main is going to look like. So now I can go to my main style. Okay, so the vulnerable text there is in my main style. And I can change this now to a more standard font, maybe a clean looking font, a regular, nice, clean text. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know where that sentence was going, Ruth, so I'll just stop it there.
I mean, why? It's because you're concentrating on fonts, that's why.
It is.
It is. I know.
I've switched over to Source Sans Pro Black, which is a favorite of mine. It's a good one. And again, I don't think I want an outline and a shadow on this. I'll take the shadow off. Okay. And then the outline, I'll bring that down to make that a little bit thinner. Now, I don't actually mind the color on this kind of yellow. It contrasts really well with the rest of the poster. So I don't mind that at all. I think for my title, so for the status, I'd like that to be darker, maybe like a dark navy. So to change that, I'm going to go over to highlight here. Okay, and here we go. I'm going to click in here, and I've probably there we go. I've already got some kind of suggested colors there. There we are. That works lovely. And maybe I'll change the outline of that to be white. yeah, that works well for me. I'm quite happy with that. So what I'm going to do now is, quite simply, I'm going to duplicate this text box for the other 6 zones, for my other 6 droplets. So I'm just going to hit the duplicate button up here, or you could use Control D or Command D on a Mac. So there we are. I've duplicated it, and I'm just going to place these into the correct zones. And then when I've passed back over to Ruth, that's all I'm going to be doing is going into these text boxes and changing the text for the other facts that Dom's provided for us. Okay, so you can see by doing this, you know, I won't have to mess around with the fonts every single time I add the text box. We're kind of duplicating the style of this text box. Hey, we've got a shout out, Ruth.
Hey!
Willowbrook are watching.
Hi, Willowbrook.
Hey, Willowbrook. Where are you, Willowbrook? What part of the world is Willowbrook? It sounds lovely. It sounds like something out of The Wind in the Willows, doesn't it? Sounds,
I was totally going to say Wind in the Willows. Like,
yeah,
I was like wind?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Well, let us know where you are. Where is Willowbrook? It sounds like a lovely part of the world, I got to say. Yeah, so I'm sure you can see how this is going to come together now. Really, I'm nearly there with it. Apart from a little bit of magic dust at the end, which we'll talk about in a bit. I just need to change the text on these text boxes, and I'm there. Right then, Ruth, shall I pop back over to you?
Yeah. So I have all my facts duplicated, and I've got them laid out kind of the way that I want. I was thinking I might move them down a wee bit just because the bottom is a wee bit fuller. So one thing I wanted to show on the iPad, which I only discovered a few weeks ago, and it has changed my life as to using Adobe Express on the iPad, is so, for example, sometimes I would want to move this down a wee bit and it would get snapped together. See the way I can't actually move that down the way I want to? And I don't have arrow keys to move it.
Oh, yeah.
On the iPad, if I tap on it and I go to adjust, you're going to see this option called nudge. If I go to nudge, it's going to bring me up these little arrows, which means I can nudge it down, and they act like keyboard arrows, and it is the best thing ever.
Oh, yeah, because I do that all the time.
All the time.
Once you've got lots of layers going on, guys, if you try and click and drag stuff, then you'll always end up moving the layer that you didn't want to move. So selecting something from your layer stack and then using the arrow keys on your keyboard to move things is far less stressful. So that tip on the iPad is fantastic, Ruth, using nudge. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, because like I said, it was always something that frustrated me a wee bit on the iPad. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with mine. There's a few wee things that I could obviously change, but we have all of the features that we need. We've got a title, we've got a background, we've got an image. I've removed the background of the image. I've got all my different text boxes and with all the different facts in, and I am pretty happy with this. There was just one little thing that I was like, I really want to try this, but I might leave it to the whenever we give you a wee bit of time to play around. So what I'm going to do is, for now, I'm going to show the iPad users how they can export their work.
Okay.
But I think so, because I don't think there's anything else that I really need to put in that can't be like an extra thing. I think that's pretty good for me. So for the iPad users, we are going to share this. And what we're going to do is, you've got 2 arrows in the top right of our screen. The down arrow is going to save it directly to our iPad. So that's if you want to save it, it will go in your photos and then you can print it that way. But on the top right, you're going to see there's an up arrow. That means share out of this app. And you'll see there's save image, there's shareable templates. You can actually create things as templates, which is pretty cool. But the one that we want is we want to tap on copy link. So again, that's the arrow jumping out and copy link. So if I tap on that, it's going to prepare our project. Depends on how quick your internet is. I'm at home, so my internet is flying, which is great. So mine did it really quick. So it's copied to my clipboard, which means it's almost like I've hit edit copy. Because what we need to do is, you'll notice in the challenge is that we would love for you guys to share your work. So if you're working on this, what you can do is you can share this. And remember, this is part of the swag thing as well, because you would email through that you have done it. So we're going to do share your work. And when I tap on that, it's going to open up this Google form. So I can put in my name, Ruth. I can put in my school. I don't have a school, so I'm just going to go, I'm just going to call it, it doesn't really matter, Ruth, just whatever you want. I'll call it like Shark.
Make a decision, Ruth. Come on.
Shark Integrated Primary School. There we go. So Shark Integrated, that's where I go. And then in link to your Adobe Express project, if I just tap on that and I go to paste, that's going to paste in the link that we need to share. So if I hit submit, that's going to be submitted, and that work is now in the Google Doc, and that means that we could share that. But say I just went into here and I pasted it into a page, it's going to show my work like this, and you can see there's my final project, and I'm pretty happy with that. So that's how the iPads would share their work.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, shall we jump back over? So I'm going to show you how to share the work, but I'm going to show you something else super quick first of all. Now, when we're giving you 5 minutes to have a final play around with this, I'll be finishing my text. So you can see that I've still got 2 statuses at the bottom there that I need to swap text for habitats and places. But you can see that I'm nearly there. So the final piece of the puzzle, okay, and I would recommend you do this last, because once you do this, then obviously it's difficult to click on other stuff. You're never done. When you think you're done, you're not done. Okay, let's put some magic dust on this. So I'm going to go design assets. What we're going to add some really cool texture to our entire design. It's like having Sunday dinner and then putting a lot of gravy over it. You know?
Yeah.
Would you like a Sunday dinner with no gravy? No, thanks.
No, thank you.
Okay? So we've got everything on the plate. Now we need to put the gravy on top. That's going to put everything together and make it feel like one big design. So in the design assets, I'm just going to X out of this and go back to the main design assets panel. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you're going to find textures. Okay, I'm going to click on more, and in here, I'm going to go to my favorite textures, which are film. So you'll see film, and again, click on more, and in here you'll see a load of different film textures, and we're actually going to pick one of the ones which are practically invisible. Okay, so it's difficult to see what they are, so you just have to try them out really. So you can see if I zoom in, they've kind of got kind of scratchy white like old film texture on them. So I'm going to pick one of these, and I'm going to choose you. I'm going to click on it, and it's going to add it to my design. Now then, once it's on your design, there it is. It's really subtle. It's not obvious at all. I'm just going to really roughly resize it so that it's totally covering my whole thing. Okay, you don't see a kind of straight edge. There we go. And now you can see it's kind of made it look a bit worn. It could be a poster on a ship out at sea or something like that. You know, it looks a bit dog-eared and folded up. Now, I love that effect, but it is a bit too much at the moment. So as I did with reducing the opacity for that white droplet behind the title, I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to bring the opacity all the way down to 0 for that film texture. And then I'm just going to bring it in slowly until I feel that it's enough. And for me, it's about there. Okay, and it's always less than you think. It's always less than you think. If you were to drag from 100% down, you'd get to 50% and you'd be like, oh, surely that's far enough. Okay, so start from 0 and add it in, and you'll always surprise yourself how little you need. Okay, so I'm on about 23% there, and I think that works perfectly. Okay, we got another shout out. Shwmai dosbarth Sycamore from Alexandra School in Wrexham. All right. Hello. Croeso I chi dosbarth Sycamore. Sycamorwydden. Lovely. I wonder if they've got a sycamore leaf on the door going into the class.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
And some of those helicopters, you know. Oh, the fun we used to have before, iPads and Nintendo back in the 80s, throwing those around. Yeah, there we are. Don't do that, kids. It's probably dangerous. I don't know.
Yeah,
right. So next, again, when I said, you think done, not done. Okay, that was great, but I'm not done. Let's do some more. I'm going to add some light effects now. So I'm going to go back into my design assets. And I'm better time. I think we are bust on time here, aren't we? But it doesn't matter. We're having fun. And I'm going to go to overlays this time. not textures. Okay, and in overlays, you've got a lights section, which is there. Scroll down, 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 down. Have I passed it? I passed it.
Lights, was it? I think you passed it.
Yeah, lights. I have it there.
There it is.
Okay, so in the lights here, I'm going to go for rays of light. Click on that. And I go for a big kind of, sun. Maybe that one at the top there, that one looks quite cool. This one down the bottom here. Here we go, this kind of thing. Because what I really want is the kind of darkness around the edges. Now, you've got that effect just on your background image anyway, Ruth, haven't you?
That's
kind
true, yeah.
Light under the sea. Okay, so I'm going to bring this in now. There we go. And I'm going to do the same and just really roughly resize it. Okay, and stick with me because I know it looks terrible at the moment. People are watching like, what is he doing?
Yeah, that's it. Trust the process.
Why is he destroying his work? Okay, so there we go. I've got that in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a fiddle around with the blend modes quickly. Does multiply help? Yes, it does. Does screen help? Not as much. So I quite like multiply because it keeps the kind of dark, the warm kind of color to it. And then I'm going to do the same. I'm going to drag my opacity all the way down to 0. And then I'm going to bring it in to taste. And I think it's going to be about there. And what it's done is given it a kind of vintage, aged feel, that you can't quite put your finger on, but it's just brought all the poster together. See, it's like the gravy plate. It's brought everything together. Now then, to hand this in or to share this with us on the browser, please don't copy this URL at the top. Don't send us that. Do not.
Oh.
Don't send us that. Okay? If you send us that, we won't be able to open your work, okay? You've got to send us the link from the share button. So top right, you need to click on share, and then you need to choose publish. So share, publish. It is easy, honest. And then you need the link. So share, publish, link. Okay, and as Ruth showed us, that'll take a bit of time to cook. But once it's ready, we're just going to copy that and paste it in to the Google form, which we've got here. So give us your name, your school name, and then you're going to use Control V or Command V if you're on Mac to paste your URL in there. Okay, so is my URL ready? Yes, it is. Perfect timing. So click once, Control C, copy. There I go. Paste it in there. School name, give your name, and then submit. And we are going to be showing some of those up screen pretty soon. So get them in so that we can give you a shout out. I love seeing these. So what are we doing now, Ruth? Are we going to have 5 minutes or are we too slow to move on?
No, so I think we could, what we do is maybe just pop a bit of music on, give you a couple of minutes to get caught up. There's one wee thing that I would love to show to see. I'm going to try it. I haven't actually tried it yet to see how I can do it. So you guys can just listen to us. Or you can just turn us down, work on your own stuff, and then we'll get started on challenge 2 afterwards.
So this is where I put the music on. Is that right? Yeah. Okay.
There
I'm a pro, guys. I'm a pro.
I know.
Okay.
So yeah, you guys work away. So one thing that I noticed in my design, and this is where we can talk about, my A in this font looks so much like a shark fin.
Oh my gosh.
To try and put in a shark fin shape. And
well,
this might not work, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to go to add shape, and I'm going to type thin. I haven't done this, so I don't know what I'm seeing.
Well, Ruth, I'm not saying that we are psychic or anything, but I've already had a play around with this idea as well.
So there, because this is A, looks like a shark fin. So there we go. So I'm going to tap on this one. I think I'm going to bring in, and I'm going to try this. And I'm going to set it to be white.
That's exactly the same one as I've used as well.
No way.
Yeah, I'm not going to switch to my screen because I don't want to gazump you.
this is probably the way that you did it too. So the problem is I need to get rid of my A.
Yeah.
I don't know if I put spaces in. I don't know if it'll work.
I put a space and then a full stop, and then I hit the full stop.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try a little dash because it's higher up. So I'm going to do this, which means that I can put in this little chart.
Oh, that's mad.
This is so funny because it's just like, I'm going to pinch to zoom in on the iPad because it's a wee bit too big. That's so funny that we've done the same thing.
I'm gonna, when you're done, I'm gonna switch to mine, and I promise you, I haven't touched it. Okay, this is the one I did a few days ago.
True.
Are you ready? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I made yesterday morning when I was having a play around, and that's all I did differently to you. I then duplicated it and changed the other one to white so that it
create that
shadow. Yeah.
That's so funny.
That's hilarious.
I've been looking at it the whole time going, I think I could put a fin in. So I would like it that the fin wasn't so curved, but we're kind of stuck with what the shapes are.
It's as if we planned this. It's as if we planned something, you know?
Definitely didn't. I promise you guys we didn't. So yeah, that was all I wanted to show. I might actually I was going to add in what you did, which I thought was really cool with the texture, just to see what it looks like.
Oh, yes.
Film, wasn't it?
Film, yeah.
And then it was down there. I suppose it's any.
Yeah, the ones that you can't really see. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to try this one. I think that might be the one you used. I'll make it big.
Yeah. Cool.
Nice and big. And then you just knock the opacity down, right? Or did you do a blend mode?
No, I didn't on that. I just no. Because it's just white, the blend mode just acts like an opacity anyway. The blend modes only really work if you've got a lot of different colors going on. If it's just white on transparent, then you may as well just use the opacity slider. I found
That's
anyway.
True. So what I've done is I've put a little filter on mine, the duotone, to make it blue.
Yeah, cool.
To see if that's working, because that on my background it's a wee bit too light, so something like that looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
love it.
Yeah. I'm just gonna jump over quick and see if we've had any in yet. I'm gonna see if anybody's sent something over yet, or maybe everybody's just busy creating
a fin for an A.
Yeah. Where are we? Oh, I'm scrolling through everyone that Dom's ever done in history. Right.
Oh, really?
Let me. Here we go. I'm down on row. Here we go. I'm on row 5,532. Okay.
Jeepers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we've got some in. Yeah. Okay. So
you want to pop over to you?
Yeah. I'll
you'll share. You'll look at them first. Yeah.
Yeah, and then cool. This music is pretty funky.
Yeah, it is cool. I am going to just show on the iPad, you can change the order. That's the layers. You go to order, and then I'm going to just pop that background behind so it's not on my shark. So the shark a wee bit more.
Yeah.
Like that.
Cool. We've had a lot in from Osbaston School. Now, I'm not sure where that is, but it sounds like somewhere in Pembrokeshire to me. Sounds like a Pembrokeshire. Yeah, sounds like a Pembrokeshire word. Place names in Pembrokeshire are very different to the rest of Wales because, because the Flemings settled there many centuries ago.
Wow.
So, they did. So there's a Flemish settlement. So there's a lot of place names in Pembrokeshire, which
I love Scandinavia. It's the best.
Yeah, you can spot straight away that they might be from there. Right, I'll just get a couple more up and then we'll jump over.
Well, what I'll do is, do you want to pop off the music and I can get them started on page at least? Because I'm just conscious of it's where it have to.
It's gone.
Brilliant.
Well, if you want, I've got. Look,
show them first.
Yeah. The elusive octopus.
Very good.
Oh, I love this. Octopi. Octopi live in all coastal marine water. Nice. I like that.
I like your
some Latin flex going on there. I like that.
Yeah.
Seals and sharks are predators of octopi. Octopi eat crabs, clams, and other octopi. Ooh, do they really?
Ooh.
Wowzers.
Yeah.
Okay. King penguin.
Brilliant.
It's lovely. And then we've got, oh, this is a lovely one as well. I like that.
Oh, that's very cute.
Yeah. I like there's a nice kind of warmth to the colours in that. Lovely. Well done, guys. Keep your designs coming in, and we'll definitely show them. And give us a shout out as well if you hear from any other schools. We are happy to give you a shout out. And now over to you, Ruth, where we're moving on to our second challenge.
Yes, so we don't have too much time to get through this one, but thankfully Adobe Page, or the website creator, is very, very quick to make things come together, and all our text is already done. That's the hardest part. So on the iPads, we're going to exit out of Adobe Express and go to Spark Page. Hopefully it's remembered and I'm still logged in. Yes. Okay. So again, in here, you can see your work in My Pages, but we're just going to tap on the plus button and it's straight into creating a photo, like a web page. Like, it's so fast. And the first thing we're going to do is, this is like our landing page on websites. So it's kind of like our title page. So I'm going to tap on photo and I'm going to do find free images. That's going to open up the Adobe suite or stock photos. And again, I'm just going to type in shark. And we're going to see if there's any good backgrounds for a shark title slide. So I think it's probably just going to be either this one where there's loads of sharks, or what I might do is I'm going to go to replace and I'm going to tap on this one at the top. So I think that's more dramatic. I think that's a pretty cool, like, ooh, start.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
And I'm going to just type in great white shark. Sharks maybe, and I am going to get that doc with Dom's information on all this, and I'm going to just copy the scientific name for the sharks, because I think that worked really well, adding that as a subtitle, because to be honest, I don't know, the only other subtitle I could think to add would be my name. That would be it, you know, like by Ruth Davidson or whatever. So I'm just going to add that in, which looks cool. And then I'm going to just get started. You guys can work away on this. So that's very easy to get your title slide together. And then I'll show one split layout. And then if you show the other one, you can kind of see the difference between the two if you want. So I'm going to go to split layout. That basically means we've got a photo on one side and an opportunity to put some content in on the other side. So I'm going to go to add your image. Let's get our text in first, actually, because I need to know what the image is going to be. So I'm going to just highlight this first section, which is facts, just a full section here. And I'm going to go to plus, go to text, and I can just paste it in. This is how easy it is to get things in. So the good thing is, because facts was on a different line than my paragraph, it automatically creates those as two different things that I can format differently. And so if I hit header 1, it's not going to do that to the bottom one. If I did header 1 on this, you would be scrolling forever to try and read that, which doesn't look good. So I'm just going to leave that as the normal text. Got my top one as header 1. I will do center align just to make it look a wee bit better. It's up to you guys. Again, we're not telling you how to do it. We're just showing you the options. And then, so I know that my, this little split layout is all to do with sharks. It has a lot of things about their prey and like teeth and stuff. So I'm going to just go to add image. It's already got shark up. That's what I really like about this on the iPad. It remembers what I searched. And I'm going to try and find an image that looks better sort of upright, which is a bit harder to do. So actually, I might pick the one I originally picked at the start, just because facts about loads of different sharks. Again, these are probably not great white sharks, but you get the idea. I probably, you know, you could put in a big picture of a shark, or if you're doing a different animal, you could go and find an image somewhere else and put that in. And the only other thing I'm going to add in just very quickly at the bottom is I'm going to show you how to put a button in. That's where you can link out to something else. So if you have more information or something else you want to add in, I'm just going to show how to do a button. You can show how to do it as well, no probs. And then I'll just say something like, click here for more information. What a classic button text. And I'm going to highlight this link. So you guys, again, you can put your own link in. I'm just using this because all the text is here for us. And I'm going to go to center align. Now, if I show you, it's over to the left. It doesn't look great on the left. So I'm going to do center align, and it's not. There it is. It did it. It just had to hit done. And then there's my button. And so that's the first part. And then if I scroll down, I could add in another split layout. And then I'll pass over to Miradev, who's going to show us the browser version of that.
Yeah, cool. So whilst you've been doing that, I've obviously been watching, but I also Googled where Osbaston School is, and I'm totally wrong. So that's the last time I start riffing about Welsh geography. So yeah, they're in Monmouthshire, which is kind of totally the opposite side of Wales. So sorry about that, guys. Apologies, but it sounded a bit Pembrokeshire-ish. So yeah, I'm really sorry about that. I'm the Eiriadau. Right. So on the browser version, we don't need to switch to another app, which is great. But otherwise, the experience is really similar to Ruth just showed us. To create a new web page, we're going to click on the plus icon here at the top left of our Adobe Express dashboard. And in the pop-out window, we're just going to choose web page. Okay, so I'm going to click on web page. And it's going to give me a nice inspirational quote. Love reading those. Yeah, and here we go. So, as you can see, it's really similar to what Ruth just showed us. I'm just going to click it, add my title, The Great White Shark. And yeah, so Ruth added the scientific name in there, or you could, as Ruth said, just put name in there. Okay. And then to add a background image, I'm going to click on this little plus icon, which is here. Okay, so I'm going to click on that, and I can add a photo, short cover, split layout. So I'm going to add a photo in there. And again, I'm just going to look for sharks. Maybe try and get more than one. Let's go for... tell me to get on with it.
No, you're good. And
there we go.
Ooh,
we've got the teeth in. Yay! Right. So I'm going to scroll down now to start adding my next bit. So on Adobe Express page, whenever you want to add something new, that's all you need to do is scroll down, and the bottom of the page will kind of bounce up and say, okay, what do you want to put in next? So I'm going to scroll down, and you'll see, boop, there it is. It bounces up. Okay, what do we want to add? So Ruth added a split layout, so I'm going to do the same. There's my split layout. Okay, and on the left-hand side here, I'm going to add my image. So I'm not going to search. That's not a shark. Right, there we are. And then I'm going to add my text on the right-hand side. So I'm going to click plus here, text. Okay, and over to Dom's facts. Copy the whole thing. Control-C to copy it. Back to Adobe Express. Paste. And then I'm going to highlight that top bit, and I'm going to turn it into a header. Okay, so just format it, and I'm going to center that as well. I'll add the button in here. Okay, so I'm going to click on the plus icon. So you notice I'm adding this within this split layout. I'm not adding it underneath. I'm adding it into the same split layout as the text. So I'm going to add my button. And again, I'm going to say, click here for more info. And then I'm going to go over to our research doc and copy that URL, and then back over to Adobe Express, paste it in, and I'm also going to center align that and save. Okay, and I'm going to add another split layout now. Okay, and you'll notice when you add another split layout, it'll automatically do the opposite. It'll put the image on the right-hand side and the text on the left, which is nice because it just changes things up. You could always switch them with this switcher in the middle here. Okay, but I think it makes sense to have them at opposite sides. So I'm going to do that, but I'm going to pass over to Ruth now, who's going to show us how to add a super cool glide show.
Yeah.
Super cool glide show time.
So I have done the same. I have my first one. I find a nicer picture that's much better for a shark. So I've got my facts. I've got my extra second split layout in overfishing. So I chose a fishing boat. And then down here, you're going to notice you can add things in like photo grid. That's just going to add in different photos. We're not telling you exactly what to do. There's lots of different ones. You can add in videos. You can add in text. So it's just like different text will appear. But one of the cool features of Page, which is actually probably one of my favorite features, is Glide Show. So what Glide Show is going to do is it's going to open up this new window, and basically we're going to pick 3 different photographs. The reason we're picking 3 is we have 3 extra facts or sections. So I've done facts and I've done overfishing. So what's left is why they matter, threats, and what the WWF is doing about that. Okay, and if you grew up around my time, WWF was something else. It was wrestling.
It was.
Yeah, which is the WWE now. So I'm going to choose 3 different shark photographs that will work with that. So I'm going to tap on this one. I quite like that one. That's for why they matter. And then we've got threats. So that's going to be, something that maybe is against it. Some of these photos are ridiculous. I just noticed. We'll not do some of those. So I might just do, I can't actually remember what is threats. Again, it's fishing is one of the biggest threats to great white sharks, unfortunately. Yeah, I might just
like fishing nets or something, because I'm sure a lot of them get caught up, in nets.
Yeah, that's a good one actually. Yeah. So yeah, I might just do like, oh, that's a boat again. Anyway, oh, that's a good one actually. I might just put this one in because it's like a fishing net. And
yeah.
Get the pollution in.
And
then we've got what WWF is doing. So that's going to be helping them out. So again, I'm just going to search sharks. Weirdly, I get slightly different results when I search sharks as opposed to shark. Anyway, that's a fun fact for you. So I'm just going to tap on this one. And then I'm happy enough. I can use these arrows to change the order of things, but I'm going to hit done. And then in here, I can add in the text. So if I scroll, it's going to do this lovely transition between the 3 different.
Yeah, that's so cool.
So cool. And then what I can do is I can actually move this box over. So that text box could be there as opposed to being on the front. Again, this one could be in the middle. You just have to tap and hold to move it. Oh, I don't think I can do it. And there's the middle there. And then again, I can move that up. And sort of it will move it over to the side. It's just deciding it's going to be in the middle. And then in here, I can tap on text and I can add it in. But have you got photographs sorted on your Glide Show, or are you still working away? I'm just wondering.
Do you know? Sorry, I've been looking at some of the designs that come in, and one of these from Osbaston has got a Star Destroyer in there.
I love how the shark's like,
yeah, I know. Very nice.
Or that's excellent though. It's good use of remove background.
Yeah, nice. I don't think you got the Star Destroyer from the Adobe photos. I think you must have had to have used Google Images or something for that. So nice. Anything Star Wars. Star Wars makes everything better, basically. I found that. Yeah. Oh, and the title is So yeah, cool. Right. Sorry. Yeah. So let's go to my Glide Show. So the same thing. I've scrolled to the bottom and it's asking me, okay, what do you want to add then? And I want to add a Glide Show. When you click on that, it takes you to kind of the Glide Show photos window. So in here, you guys take longer looking for your photos than we are. We're just, randomly choosing some. I'll try looking for something like trawler. Is that going to give me anything?
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, that's quite good.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay. And then maybe conservation.
Oh, nice.
Oh, try spelling it conservation. Somebody might be somebody giving a shark a hug. I don't know what that is, but it looks cool.
Yeah, it does.
Nothing to do with sharks. Anyway, so you you take much longer than us looking for images. I'm gonna go for that one instead because no, that's even worse. Sorry, it looked like the sea there. Anyway, right. I'm gonna just move on.
Sure.
So I'm gonna click on save. And again, here we go. You can see now the glide show in action, and there we get that lovely little fade, that dissolve from one photo to another. Okay, and some random ice. So I'm gonna, so I'm gonna do the same as Ruth. I'm gonna go over, copy our why they matter. Copy, back I get, click in this little rectangle. It's text, paste, change that top bit to a header, move down, click, text, threats. It's these guys with their nets, that's the threats.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's a good photo.
It is, yeah. I obviously planned it really well. this photo, not so good. Not so good. What are WWF doing? They're going to Antarctica. There we are. So, oh no. Why didn't
I love how it's they're researching and monitoring them migrating to and from California, and it's a picture of ice.
Yes. Yeah. Don't judge me, right?
No, judgment. It's great.
And remember as well, guys, when you're designing on Adobe Express to make your page, it is worth having a quick preview now and again. Okay, so clicking on preview, because it'll take out those little add in another section buttons. So there's little white plus buttons that normally are between every section. You know, they disappear. Now I can really properly scroll through and see it in its full glory. Okay, there it is. Fantastic. Right. Now then, what are we doing now, Ruth? Sharing it?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about themes just very quickly? I know we're out of time, but we
absolutely need to talk about themes. Now, Ruth and I love spending hours choosing fonts and color schemes. So to stop us from doing that, to save us from ourselves, we've got themes. Now, in themes, you've only got about 10 themes to choose from. Okay, that's it. So take it or leave it. Now, some of them will add kind of a color filter to your images. You see, this has added a kind of overlay. And some of them then don't. Okay, so just click through them, and you'll see that it'll change the look of your whole thing. Really, it'll change the fonts, it'll change the color of text, and it'll definitely have an effect on your header. So that's all you need to do to change themes. Is click on themes on the top right hand side and a little browse. How do we do that on the iPad?
For themes, yeah, easy enough. Instead of, so if we want to preview, it's the little play button in the square box that'll preview our document, so we can kind of see, oh yeah, that looks so much better without all those gaps, for sure. And then themes is just a little magic wand with, like, I don't know if it is a magic wand. To me, it looks like a magic wand with sparks coming out of it. But in there, then you can see the different themes. It's always best to do themes at the end, I think, because your content is all in. So it's things like this one, in theory, when I first started, would have looked nice, but doesn't look great compared to the water in the backgrounds. So I'm going to go for something more like chunky and just nice. And actually, it's a gray font it ends up working like, which works really well. And you can see what your buttons look like. So that's how we do it there. And then the last step is to export it or share it. Okay, so on the iPads, I'll show that first, and then you can show it on the browser. We're just going to tap on this little box with the arrow jumping out. The arrow pointing up is always share on the iPads. And then in here, we can add in different things like author attribution, whatever. I'm going to turn get noticed off. That's going to make it unlisted, which means it's not going to post to the Adobe community, this website. I'm just going to keep mine secret and hidden and only share it with Dom. So and then I'm going to do share. It's going to create a little link. So if I create unlisted link, it's just going to go through a little progress bar as to it publishing, and then it will copy that link, and then I can do the same thing again. I can just paste it and that will work that way. The other thing to note is if you do make a change in your project and it's already been published. So say I did Great White if I go to publish again, you're going to see it says update unlisted link instead of create a link. So that's what it'll look like on the iPads. Okay, so if you do make any changes, make sure that you publish it again by updating it.
And then they don't need to send that link in again to us on the Google form.
Exactly.
Okay?
It's one link. It's one link. It'll always, you don't need to resend if you, as long as you update.
That's true as well on Adobe Express Post. Is that right, Ruth?
Correct.
With the design, the fact files, if you've published it and then make changes and go to republish it, then the link that you've already sent to Dom will be fine. You don't need to send another link.
Yep.
Okay, we'll get the updated version. Okay, so shall I show the share? Yeah,
you show, because we need to wrap up now, but
yeah, cool. So yeah, sharing from the browser is pretty much an identical process. Okay, we've got the share button at the top here. Okay, so again, make sure you don't send us the URL. We can't do anything with that. You have to share and publish. So share, publish and share link. Okay, and here the kind of share to Adobe, that's already switched off automatically for us. So I don't think we need to do anything there. You could just switch that off. You could pick a category. I'm not going to and never bother doing that. Okay, and then life's too short. And then I'm going to click on create link there. So I didn't need to do anything on that window there. Just click create link. It already had my name in, and the title came from the header that I'd given to it. And there we are, it's done. So I'm going to click on copy there now. And then again, I'd be going over to the Google form. You could, if you've already sent in your image, you just refresh the Google form. Okay, and there we are. You can send in the, you can send in now your page. Sorry. On the form again. Okay, send your form in again with the page. Okay, so I think that's us, Ruth.
Yeah, that's us.
Yeah, so thanks very much to everybody who's joined us. Please remember to get your links in, and to teachers, remember now to apply for the swag. Dom will be emailing you out. Ruth, well, thank you very much for your company, because you know, this could have been my one and only week on Digital Leaders Club, but I've really enjoyed it. It's been a load of fun.
Really good fun. Hope you guys learned a lot of different tips and techniques. The nice thing is, ends up Meredith and I design very similar ways.
Yeah, we do.
Fonts and backgrounds and stuff. So hopefully we haven't
and fins instead of A's. Yeah.
I can't believe that was what we did. See, great minds. See, you got to see the shapes. But anyway, yes, thank you so much. We really enjoyed this, and we look forward to seeing what you create. Very much so.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, I'm sure Dom will see you on another one, and Ruth will probably be there too, and maybe even I'll be back. Who knows?
I hope so. It'd be great.
It's been an absolute blast. So we'll see you again. Hwyl fawr. Bye-bye. Ta-ra, Ruth.
Bye.